9/11 terror threat.
Jessica, thanks very much. Terror expert Steve Emerson's on the phone now. He's Executive Director of the Investigative Project on Terrorism. Mr. Emerson, what do you know about this? How seriously should we all be taking this?
As an intelligence official just said to me, this has major teeth to it. So they're taking it quite seriously. And they're using triage here. They're using materials they collected in the Bin Laden raid. They're using signal intelligence that is intercepts. And they have some other sources. And bottom line is, it resulted in taking this very seriously as 48 hours ago. I knew about it yesterday. The issue is where and when and what type. The belief is that it would be some type of truck bomb or car bomb. It would be in a major city like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and it would involve probably mass communication, mass transportation system, railways, aviation, buses, or subways. There is a secondary threat to government icons like military bases or federal buildings. As far as the probability here, obviously no one can tell. The heightened awareness is definitely very good for the U.S. government because it makes carrying out such a thing a little bit more difficult since people would notice anything conspicuously. But I can tell you that in the last month or so, there have been a series of alerts issued by DHS, classified alerts issued by DHS and the FBI, talking about the results of what they found in the Bin Laden hideout, and also the fact that 5 days after Bin Laden's death, Al-Qaeda stated specifically that soldiers of Islam, quote, will plot and plan until they succeed in carrying out the attack in the U.S. And the most interesting thing here is that we now know that Al-Qaeda does use anniversaries, a U.S. Secular anniversaries, as a symbolic way of carrying out attacks. That is, nobody knew before why September 11th or whether it was an Islamic holiday or something. But now, based on the new intelligence, they definitely believe that the anniversary of 9/11 and other prominent days in the U.S. calendar where something significant has happened is being used as a vehicle for timing such attacks.
I mean, clearly, we remember when Bin Laden was killed and the raid on the Abbottabad, a place where he was staying, was carried out. They found documentation suggesting that he had been masterminding some kind of attack on the U.S. rail network to coincide with the 10th anniversary of 9/11. This is a slightly different form of attack. Is there any doubt that the warning that's been put out involves Al-Qaeda, or is that just an assumption that everyone is assuming is correct?
It's not 100%, there's no 100% guarantee in this business, but it is believed to be an Al-Qaeda threat or an Al-Qaeda inspired threat, based on the fact that Al-Qaeda statements made after his killing was that they were going to strike against the U.S. This was picked up. They were going to strike on the anniversary of 9/11, and they were going to try to kill as many Americans as possible, basically, in large concentrations. And that, particularly, they had mentioned transportation systems. They talked about certain cities.
Steve Emerson, I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to go back to Wolf Blitzer. Wolf, bring up the date on where things are. We have this press conference in about 20 minutes involving Michael Bloomberg. It would seem that this warning is now gathering some momentum. Clearly, potentially a very serious threat.
You know it's very serious when they start briefing not only Mayor Bloomberg, Ray Kelly, the police commissioner in New York, but they're also, in the past several hours now, they've briefed key members of the House and Senate, including the chairman of the House of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Joe Lieberman, Susan Collins, the ranking Republican. She was, in fact, late walking in to the president's address before a joint session of Congress because she's been briefed. Dianne Feinstein, the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, they are briefing key members right now on what they know. They're not going into all the specifics, a lot of classified information there, but they're giving the rough outlines of why they're taking this this so-called chatter and intelligence that they've gathered a lot more seriously than they have in the past, and why they've made a very conscientious decision to let all of us know. They're not keeping it secret. They want the American public to know that there's a heightened risk right now. They're hoping it doesn't pan out, but better to be safe than sorry. And they want everybody to, they see something, to report it right away to law enforcement. If they suspect something, report it. Anything unusual that could be a tip, they want to know. They want to follow up. They don't want to cause undue panic by any means, but they want everybody to be a little bit more alert and prepared around this 10th anniversary of 9/11, which occurs, as we all know, Sunday.
You know, I remember your interview with the president a short while ago, Paul, in which you put this directly to him, that there was this very serious concern generally there would be some form of attack, and particularly since the killing of Osama bin Laden, you know, the discovery of documents warning that he'd been making this plot to commemorate the 10th anniversary of 9/11 with some atrocity. You know, I would imagine that the prospect of that was massively increased by the death of bin Laden, because you would have all these people out there sympathetic to him who may want to perhaps honor his memory in some grotesque manner like this. But in your experience of these kind of threats, again, I say to you, I suppose it's the wrong question. Obviously, it's a serious threat, but have you seen anything quite like this in terms of the warning they're given, the strength of the warning, the number of official bodies coming out now, making statements, briefings, and so on?
I haven't seen anything exactly like this. I remember years ago, in the past 10 years, there were times when they raised that orange threat level to a higher level, could go all the way up to red, if you will. They never did that. But in this particular case, let me just share with you, Piers, about a month or two ago, I began hearing from my sources here in Washington that there was heightened concern around the 10th anniversary of 9/11. That's why when I interviewed the president a few weeks ago in Iowa, I asked him, how concerned are you? And he said he was very concerned, and he then said he was especially concerned about what he described as a lone wolf kind of sympathizer to Al-Qaeda, a terrorist who wanted to get revenge on behalf of Al-Qaeda, the killing of bin Laden. He referred to that lone wolf who was operating in Norway, killed almost 100 people, as all of our viewers know by now. That had nothing to do with Al-Qaeda in Norway, but that is a source of concern, that it wouldn't necessarily be a spectacular plot along the lines of 9/11, but it would be something more modest that could result, though, in a lot of dead Americans. So they're very worried about it. They have been, but now there has been, as we've been pointing out, this added ingredient over the past couple of days that has further raised their concerns. The president has been fully briefed, as you heard Jessica Yellen report. Members of Congress have now been briefed, and key officials in New York. And as you point out, Piers, we're going to hear from the mayor, Mayor Bloomberg, and the police commissioner, Ray Kelly, shortly. We'll hear what they have to say, but I suspect